The Villain's Demand reviews Deadpool's Secret Wars, written by Cullen Bunn and art by Matteo Lolli.
Hey guys, it's the Villain's Demand with you again today. I'm Evan the Great, this is Justin Von Doom, and this is Hero Man. And today we're going to bring you a Secret Wars tie-in, Deadpool Secret Wars. And I'll let Hero Man fill you in.
I say this with a heavy heart. I did not like this book, and I am a huge Deadpool fan. I mean, I'm one as big as it gets. I didn't really care for this book. It started off okay. I was even okay with them jumping back into the Secret Wars. But what was going on in the book is during Deadpool's Secret Wars is they go back to the first Secret Wars. Somehow he gets pulled back in time, and he's on the hero's side, and they don't know who he is because he's not there yet. You know, he hasn't
Debuted.
Yeah, he hasn't debuted, and so he's trying to remind them, hey, come on, we've killed people together, Wolverine. How do you not remember me? Come on, X-Men, I was an X-Men. Nobody knows who he is, and they all find him annoying, which he is. That part was fairly funny, but then after that, they have a couple of their little battles. Deadpool gets healed, and he's this like blonde-haired, flowing mustache, like handsome dude.
He looks like a young Chuck Norris, if you ask me.
I thought he looked like Captain America that retired, like let his hair grow out and grow a mustache. But
he works in adult
film. So
in the end, though, yeah, he does look like a porn star.
Yeah, and he gets healed, and then they all get killed, and Deadpool, with his massive regeneration, comes back. He gets the healer that healed him and has her start healing all these heroes. And but by doing so, it's slowly killing her, and then she ends up dying, but she gets all the heroes back up. And then they go to oppose Doom, who took the Beyonder's power, and he's there. And they go to oppose him. They wind up defeating him. I felt like it was a short-lived fight. They defeated him fairly easy. And then when they all get set back to the real time, Doom talked about giving wishes out throughout the book. And when they get set back to the real time, it turns out that Deadpool's actually telling his Secret Wars story to somebody. And they're like, so you saved the day and nobody knows it. And he's like, yes. And they was like, did you wish that everybody would forget? He goes, no, I think someone wished to forget me. And by forgetting him, everybody else got tangled up in the wish. And so everybody even forgot that he was ever even supposed to have been in the Secret Wars. It's kind of how the end played out.
So, here's my problem with this book. Deadpool is basically like one of your Marvel Big Three now. Probably still with Spider-Man, who's always going to be there. And I will probably say, at the moment, probably Wolverine. So, to me, Deadpool has been a very forced character. To me, he used to be like the Bruce Campbell of the Marvel Universe. When he was around, it was great. When it was funny and there towards Secret Invasion, he got his own, finally got a brand new series. And after then, it just cascaded, and I feel like they forced the comedy. Now, even in this, to me, it still feels forced. But my main thing is, okay, so they bring him back, and they put him in the original 1984 Secret Wars. And like you had touched on, no one remembers him. Well, to me, I think that's where the Wasp had made that wish, because she had not only screwed Magneto in the original Secret Wars, but then she screwed Deadpool afterwards. Deadpool makes a reference where he kind of liked that she called him Magnus and da-da-da-da-da. But now, obviously, Marvel is ahead with their books now, and Secret Wars is finished in all your main continuity that's going on. Did he... Now, I guess the question is he now officially was part of the original Secret Wars, even though no one remembers him? Is he there? I mean, is that now part of 616 continuity? I mean, no one's read the end of Secret Wars. You can't say if it's 616, but now is he part of that continuity? Like, does he take place within that now?
I wondered the same thing. I didn't know if he would be part of the story, but not be part of the story.
Yeah, because no one remembers. I mean, it's a great way to say that he was there and not there. But, I mean, is he really there now? I mean, is this, will this legit hold up? I mean, time will tell. One of the other things I thought was great is they make Deadpool's look fit like he's in 1984. He's got the big cuffs on his boots and gloves like Captain America's got. He's even got his initials on his chest like Daredevil.
I thought that was hilarious.
And to me, I thought that might have been the best part of the book. Was they did a great job of making him have an 80s look for a character that was almost invented 7 years later.
Yeah, definitely his look was the high part of the book. There was a few moments that I really thought was funny about the book, but a lot of it felt forced, like they're saying. Then there's some parts I didn't like about it, like when he fights Kang and he kicks him in the nuts. I'm like, that would not put Kang down. I mean, just to be honest. And then there's a couple other scenes where he does crazy stuff like that, and I really didn't care for those scenes. Some of the funny scenes though is like when he does when the chick kills him and he basically looks like Chuck Norris. That's when he sleeps with the Wasp, and then later on when she dies, he reverts back to his Deadpool form, and then Wasp sees him and gets freaked out.
She's disgusted.
That part's pretty funny. Some of the other stuff is alright, but his look was really the only thing I liked about the entire book, is the way he looked, and some of the things he did was funny, and then some of the things were forced, like in the beginning of the book, when he's meeting everybody and they're introducing everybody. I think when he introduced himself, I didn't like how that all went down to me. It just felt like they tried to force that upon us when they should have let it play out through the book as he encountered people, as the adventure went.
I felt like they made the book, and Von Doom mentioned it too. They made the book feel like you're reading a 1980s comic book, and I feel like Deadpool don't fit into a 1980s comic book because he's too violent, he's too harsh, and I feel like that's what I love Deadpool for, is his comedy with his violent fighting style. And I thought the fighting in this one was short-lived and goofy, like the kicking Kane in the nuts.
Well, if it's a 1980s book, though.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, that's.
And I understood that, but I wanted.
It's not what you're expecting from him.
Yes, that wasn't what I was expecting. And then, but my favorite part, all that aside, would probably be when it is when he first shows up. I found it quite funny. He's like behind. They're all standing in a line. And he's like walking behind him, poking his head beside him. Like, come on, you remember me? I'm blah, blah. And then he pops by the girl. He's like, you're beautiful, blah, blah. And there's just different stuff. And then when they're trying to discuss who should be the leader, he's, of course, behind them. You know, they're like, well, maybe the Hulk should do it. And he's like popping behind people, saying bad stuff and just agitating people. That was fairly funny to me. It felt kind of Deadpoolish. I'm like, oh, you know, I enjoyed that part. And then I also liked when he was trying to debate with Dr. Doom about Dr. Doom was like, I'll give you your heart's desire, a wish or whatever, and he's trying to debate with him, and Captain America's like, we don't want your help, and being what Captain America would do, and he's like, oh, hold up, he don't speak for me. I thought that part was kind of funny, but for the most part, the book was lackluster. I didn't care for the story, and I didn't care for the action, and most of the comedy felt forced to the point that it really wasn't all that funny. I mean, I don't have a lot to say about it.
Forced is obviously the key word here. I think what's bad is you take a very popular character like Deadpool, I mean, who is literally probably at the highest point the character's ever had. Here in a little over a month, he finally has his own movie, not that shit from Wolverine Origins.
Oh, that was so bad.
God, that's horrible. But you take a character that's fit for comics of this day. I mean, for one, your comedy, for the most part, it's slapstick, if not perverted. You take a very violent character and you stick him in an 80s comic. For one, a comic that's 30, almost 31, 32 years old at now. Like you said, Hero Man, a character that does not fit that. And for one, I mean, most of your kids these days that read comics read characters like Deadpool. And probably none of them have ever read Secret Wars. I've read Secret Wars. Have you read the old Secret Wars? Either one of you?
No, I haven't.
It's horrible. It is very... For one, comics back then are difficult to read because there's a lot of dialogue. They try to put a lot in, you know, issues to get through. And for one, and then on top of that, it just gets ridiculous. For Iron Man's got roller skates on in that book, and it's just really difficult to read. And then you take this character, you interject him, and you're trying to hit points of the book that if you've never read, you will never understand what's going on. And, I mean, like you said, you've never read this. Does that make it difficult to follow? because you don't know what's going on. You just know, hey, something is going on, and he's being interjected into it. It makes it difficult to follow.
It was difficult to follow, but I want to touch on the difficult to follow. The first 3 books, it was a couple pages the past, a couple pages
too many flashbacks,
a couple pages the past for like 3 books straight, and that was also hard to follow, especially if you haven't read the book that was out before I was even born. If you haven't read that one, it was hard to follow. And then when they kind of straightened that out, when I was like, okay, then maybe they'll fix this. They really don't. But I felt the same. I felt like it was hard to follow. And not only because they didn't explain enough about it, because he doesn't fit, the flashbacks. It was the first, I'm willing to say 3 books. The flashbacks were just constant, and it was really hard to follow. Trying to figure out what's happening, what did happen, what's this, what's that. Maybe do that in 1 book, or if you're going to do it over 3, make the flashbacks longer. You know, take this flashback and this flashback and merge them. You know what I mean? Something like that, so they're easier to follow. Not this page, this page, this page, this page. I found it really hard to follow.
Or, in a better sense, with the way the book ended, where no one remembered he was there, you could have easily retold the whole story. I mean, literally condensed it in, what was this, 4 issues? 4 or 5 issues?
Yeah.
Whichever one it is. And retold the whole story in a sense where you just go from the beginning, add Deadpool to it. I mean, the whole fact, like, hey, what am I doing? You know, none of you guys remember me. And just go through the whole story instead of going flash forwards, flashbacks, and confusing readers that's never read the original Secret War. Because in the end, what would it matter? Because no one remembered him being there. Easily, he talks about how someone wished not to remember me, and he thinks it got called up, mind wiped everyone. Who said, with that, he wasn't pulled from the story completely, and then it was told in its original format through everybody else's minds except for his. I mean, that would have been a lot simpler to do. I think it would have been way better for the book, and probably overall made it way more enjoyable.
They could have made it modern age doing it that way, too.
Exactly. Especially to the point where, Deadpool's like, oh, well, I don't do violence. I'm a hero. Where you could have even made it more funny that, say he did kill some of these guys. I mean, the Wrecking Crew. I mean, come on, Spider-Woman's taking out the Wrecking Crew. Mm-hmm. You could have had him killed some of those guys, and Captain America would be like, whoa, whoa. You could have had a really funny moment and stuff like that. Even starting, there was no banter between him and Peter Parker, which upset me, because when you get them two together, it gets funny, because that's what them two are known for, is comedy, and the banter between them two is a sorely missed opportunity with this book.
Yeah, I think the book, I mean, they made it more 80s style, but they took a character, like y'all said, as from our time and put him back then. But to me, what makes Deadpool funny is this violence and this comedy that mix. To me, that's I always laugh at things like that, and they really can't do stuff like that in that book because they were using the original story. And I think if they would have did like y'all guys said, and had him tell it like from the beginning on, maybe you could have more of that in it, and it would have got my attention span a lot better.
Well, I don't think that, in that sense, you wouldn't confuse a reader, especially, someone that's never read that old book, who I would never wish that upon anybody to read that crap. But, that's it for Deadpool Secret Wars, a Secret Wars tie. Man, that almost got me confused right there. Justin Von Doom from Hero Man. Sounding great. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. Send us some tweets on Twitter. See you next time.